What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Now, check this out. I want to get into something a little bit different. I had a couple of people that I was talking to on another channel, and I had a couple of DMs about people giving their opinions on what fighters need to do to win. So I made a video basically about Tyson Fury versus Wilder, like what each fighter needs to do to win the fight. Right now, one of the things that we don't really mention a lot of is psychological. The psychological part of the fight, where people do a lot of things to try to get under people's skin. Grabbing another fighter's wife's ass or spitting on the guy, throwing something at him or whatever. And I've always felt like I don't need that. What I need to do to win is to go into the gym, train my ass off, in and out of the gym, eat right, get my rest. Bottom line, I'm gonna beat your ass. I don't care about you. You can talk. You can say words don't bother me. And I'm saying, look, when fighters do that and they feel like they need that, okay, it's been a part of the fight game for a long time. But at the same time, there's a such thing as going too far. And why? One of the reasons for me, I don't need that. I'm supremely confident in my skill set and myself. Secondly, my fight would be canceled. Because one thing, I don't like nobody touching me. Don't fucking touch me. I don't give. You can say, well, you can talk all the shit you want. You can talk as tough as you want. You can tell everybody you're gonna knock me out. You're gonna do this and that. I know it's bullshit. You're gonna have to get in the ring and back it up. And believe me, we'll be fighting all night before you even get that chance. I'm not concerned about words. All right, we gotta fight. Whatever gonna happen, gonna happen. But I'm gonna be ready. There was a fight a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember the guys' names. There was two British guys. And one guy took a bottle of water and squirted on the guy. Ah, you want some more? Did it again, went over there, patting him on top of the head, and the guy's just sitting there with his arms crossed. I'm going to do my talking in the ring. The irony of all of that was he got water thrown on him, patted on top of the head, slapped on top of the head, cursed out, and then got his ass kicked in the ring too. So there was no revenge. Me personally, I already know, you touch me, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Like right there. I'm not gonna throw no chest shot or no fake punch to make it look like I don't do that staged fake wrestling shit. Let's make it look like we no. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. One or the other. It don't matter. Uppercut, hook, right hand, whatever it is. Knee, a fucking boot to your face, whatever. Don't touch me. The same respect I show you, show me. We don't need to be here. I don't want to smell your breath. Don't touch. It's like I would be one of them fighters. They gotta constantly have barricades. Because you're not going to tell, I don't give a fuck about all of that. Oh, it's part of the build. No, don't touch me. That's me. I'm not putting my hands on you. You're not going to put your hands on me. It's simple. And I've been known in my life for that. You get close enough, like you even trying to do something. I know me. And this is why when it comes to this shit, it's like, look, enough is enough. There's a such thing as going across the line. Understand what I'm saying? Imagine your kid sitting there watching you get water thrown in your face and slapped on top of your head and you don't do nothing. Then you go in the ring and get your ass kicked too. Now, I commended the guy for his poise. Because I know, like, when I see somebody that can do something that I can't do, I'm not a fan of what he did, but I commend him because I'm like, damn, ain't no way in fuck I could have sat there and let that happen. Like, nah, bro. I mean, just complete disrespect. I've seen fighters spit on people. I remember Larry Holmes ran across the card. Remember went over there and drop kicked Trevor Burbick and Mike Tyson biting Lennox Lewis on his thigh. I mean, crazy shit. And I'm like, if you need to do all of that, I mean, a lot of times it's fear. And they're trying to overcome that with these crazy antics. Now, when Mike bit Lennox Lewis on the thigh, what was crazy was a lot of people was like, man, that's Mike. And I'm like, give a fuck who it is. So is Mike. So it's cool for Mike to go around biting people. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This was crazy. I didn't respect that. I didn't like that. That was some bullshit. And at the end, remember when he was wiping the blood from Lennox's face? He's like, if Lennox does think I don't respect him, he's crazy. Yo, you said you want to eat the man kids and you bit him. What the fuck? Like, where's the respect in that? That's some crazy shit. Like, nah. So I'm one of these people, like if I'm in the ring and a referee is my opponent headbutt me or hit me low or elbow, I'm not looking at the ref like, yo, no, I'm going to elbow you back. Whatever you do, I'm going to do it back to you worse. So if I get disqualified, if the fight gets canceled because you doing stupid shit, well, so be it. Here's the reality. Don't blame me for reacting. You got to look at the motherfucker doing this shit and realize. This is why I say they need to have boundaries in boxing, man, where people seem to think that when you talk shit, that makes for a good fight. We've had far more fights where they talk shit and the fight didn't live up to the hype than we did. You have guys going there, they going to fight, we going to fight. We ain't going to sit here and shake hands and sit here and play Nintendo Switch together and shit. Oh, I got you. We ain't got to do all that. Just keep your hands to yourself. Stay out my face. You not my woman. I don't want to smell your breath. I don't need you in my face. I'm not going to be in your face. And see, with me, now we doing a face-off or something. We did it. Okay, cool, whatever. But I mean, all that other shit, you walking across the podium, touching me and getting up and not. Remember when what's his name? Jarrell Miller told Anthony Joshua, say I won't come over there and smack the shit out you. Say I won't come. And I'm sitting there to my like, AJ, tell that motherfucker to come do it. Please tell it, man. Like, then I'm like, you know, whatever. But then I'm like, it's just words. But at the same time, it was a threat. You gotta let motherfuckers know. Like, man, I don't give a fuck how big you are. I'm a big dude. I'm far from, I'm a big motherfucker with super fast hands and feet, bro. And I know how to fucking fight. I know what I can do. So ain't a motherfucker on the face of this earth that I'm old, man. Nah, not him. I don't care about none of that shit. My whole thing is all the psychological part. What's bullshit is because when you talking all of that, then at the end of the fight, y'all go and embrace and y'all hug, you know. Man, you was talking shit about my mother. You was talking about. That's why I don't get mad at the Charlos. People say the Charlos are disrespectful, right? Now, if it's an opponent that did nothing to you, he was respectful to you, and you just won't shake his hand, you just being unsportsmanlike, no, that's bullshit. But I mean, when somebody is like talking shit and like just your enemy, they, you know, I'm like, we don't have to like each other, man. I don't, you know, whatever. And it's the sportsman-like thing to do. You know, hey, go shake your opponent hand, you know, but it's certain things that you can do. We've seen many times where at the end of the fight, you know, the fighters never came close to each other because it's going to come to blows. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of fighters I'm talking about the most, is those fighters who do those things. People was telling me in the DMs that, Dylan White, what he needed to do, we need to disrespect Pavek and see Pavek as a gentleman. He need to get him this skin. I'm like, what does all that have to do with anything? Did he do that in the first fight? He was winning till he got knocked out. So what's that gonna? What if he did all that and then got knocked out again? What did he accomplish? You depend on your skills, man, not the ability to talk trash and act tough. That's what it comes down to. I think, like boxing, just like everything else, there's too much drama surrounding it, man. Y'all ever watch battle rap? Two guys are standing here battling. You got to walk all the way from where you are to get in your opponent's face. Your opponent doing this. And you are, motherfucker, and it is like, nah, I knock you the fuck out. So battle rap wouldn't be for me. We going back. I don't care what you say. And I got bars too. I don't care what you say. Say it from your distance. You talk all the shit you want. You can lie to everybody. You had sex with my mama. You can tell everybody you did all that bullshit that we know ain't happened, which really ain't got nothing to do with bars. But at the same time, don't touch me. Don't come in my face. Don't violate my space. Simple. How hard is that? In the fight game, we see too much of this to where it gets to the point where it's not even professional. And then we don't want younger kids who grow up watching combat sports to think that this is how you're supposed to conduct yourself. I mean, all of the shit talking and trash talking to me, I don't need it, man. I'm confident. I know what I can do. I don't understand why fighters, for the fighters that feel like they need to do that. Well, yeah, I do understand it. Like I said, a lot of times they're scared. A lot of times they're just trying to sell the fight to make you think it's going to be a massacre in there. But then what happens when you go in there and all the stuff you said you was going to do, you don't do. In fact, it happens to you. Then what? Now you have some explaining to do, right? Well, a lot of fighters make excuses up. No excuse, but in the third round, I hurt my hand, oh man, like, I don't know, something happened. Now you see something like with Yuriorkis Gamboa, where he hurt himself and you could clearly see he was a one-legged fighter. There's been several fights, where you seen a guy was hurt, he's not throwing the punch anymore, he's not using that hand to throw punches anymore, and that happens. Injuries happen in the fights, things happen, and those are not excuses. That's legitimate reasons. Okay, we get it. But when you talk a whole lot of shit, man, remember before, let's go, champ, before Shannon Briggs started chasing Klitschko all over the place. You know who did it before him? David Haye. Remember that? Everywhere Klitschko went, David Haye just happened to be there. And I'm like, is this staged or just how somehow he just knows where Vladimir is going? And remember that. And then when they fought, you know, I broke my toe. Well, this is part of what I'm saying. Now, if he feels like if I didn't chase him down like I did, I wouldn't never got the fight. Okay. And he's a victim of circumstance, didn't have a broken toe. But guess what? After all of that, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the little details in between except for people who wanted you to win. Oh, he broke his toe. That's why he lost. And you see the fight never happened after. There was never a rematch after that. Like, you did all that talk, you got beat. Now, he went on and won some big fights and had a good career, David Haye. But, you know, he just kept chasing him down. And then it was kind of like Derek Chisora was doing the same thing to David Haye. Remember that? Kept getting in his face, walking around. And remember, David Haye was walking, trying to get away from me, man. Get away from me. He's literally walking around, and they got into it. And it's like, all of that bullshit for what, though? That doesn't sell a fight for me. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for me, that doesn't sell a fight. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen is when that bell ring from bell to bell, that's what I'm focused on. I don't care about you jumping off a car, you know, drop kicking somebody. You know, I remember out of all the fighters that I've seen fight that talk a lot of shit, right? Ali talked a lot of shit. I remember him and Joe had a little scuffle where he was on they was on an interview, and Joe stood up because Ali said something he didn't like, and Ali's brother walked up on the stage and Ali was, sit down, Joe. What you standing up for? He kind of grabbed Joe around the waist, and they kind of little minor scuffle. You know, Joe lost his cool. Now, I can't tell another person how to feel, but like me, I'm not concerned about the words. But Joe, he had his threshold of, hey, I can't, all right, that's enough. You said enough. And now he went over there, he was ready to fight. And the only time other than that I seen Ali have a scuffle with somebody was against Liston. When he went in the gym and he was talking and going crazy. But again, he wasn't touching Sonny Liston. He was just talking. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care about words so much. Now, somebody touch a nerve. Don't get me wrong, because you can say the wrong thing and wind up getting your jaw knocked off your face too. But at the same time, I'm not concerned with words. I mean, you can tell me, I hope your kids die. You know, I hope you go home and your house blow up. Give a shit what you hope. I can care less about that. What we do in the ring, that's what matters. But don't put your hands on me. Don't get in my face, because you're going to get your jaw jacked. That's always been me. That will always be me. I don't give a fuck who you are. Simple. So, no, I don't agree with that. I mean, you can sit here and talk shit and whatever. That's what y'all want to do as fighters, and y'all feel like y'all need to do. Okay, whatever. Y'all can do all that. But at the end of the day, just, you know, all that touching each other and trying to provoke a fight before the fight and all this shit. And I mean, we seen it with John Jones and Daniel Cormier and all that. I mean, it's like, what is all that for? If you guys hate each other that much, what you need to do when you have that, you got to separate them. Mike Tyson had several fights. And it wasn't just the Lennox Lewis fight. I think there's a couple fights he had. A couple of fights Mike Tyson had where they had to actually have security in it. You know, do what you got to do. Because what I'm saying is because I ain't going to throw no fake punch. You know, I remember when Riddick Bowe punched Larry Donald in the face, and I'm like, Bo, what are you doing, man? Larry Donald wasn't doing jack shit. Larry Donald was standing there, and Riddick Bowe, you know, Larry Donald was basically saying he's going to win the fight. He's not scared of Bowe. He's here to fight. And somehow Bowe just pretty much, in a nutshell, got whatever he said, turned around, hit him with a weak ass, I think it was a 2 or 3 piece. That shit was weak, man. Boom, boom, boom. Larry Donald just backed up, and, you know, I'm like, damn, Bo, you hit this motherfucker bare knuckle and he ain't going away. What the fuck, man? You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, but it was like, Bo, come on, man, what you doing? Even Holyfield got on his case about that, and years later, still got it. Like, man, you hit that man for what, man? And he told him you was just jealous because he could impersonate Ali better than you could. Right? They joked it off and laughed, but he was like, yeah, but Holyfield seriously told him, he was serious when he told him, you shouldn't hit that man. You hitting that man for? But I felt, this is what I'm saying. I would teach my kids to say, always defend yourself. We have a 3 feet rule. If you close enough for me to hit you, more than likely you're going to get punched in your mouth. You don't need to be that close to me to talk to me. That's it's like it's just one of these things, man. With like in the fight game, see one of the things that I love about bare knuckle brawls. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it never happened. If it did, I just didn't see it. These guys come in there, they fist fight. They bloody each other up. And no matter what taunting they doing in the fights and all that, at the end of the fight, they always get down. Yeah, they go there, embrace it. Nothing. I love that, man. I love that. I love that. You know, Paulie Malignaggi, I remember him fighting, I forget the guy named the Russian guy. And, you know, basically Paulie spit on the guy and they, you know, just all this bullshit, and then Paulie lost. You know, and he was, oh man, they cheated me, man. I beat the guy, I had one hand and whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you lucky that they was able to pull that guy, hold that guy back. Cause if he really wanted you, you spitting on, just to spit on somebody, that's like an ultimate insult. For somebody to spit on you, man, is like, you ain't worth shit. Fuck your life. That's what that is to me. That's how I take it. Somebody spit on you, bro. And all this just to win a fight. The thing is, what happened? Paulie did all that and he lost. Yeah, his hand was swollen, all fucked up and all of that. But at the end of the day, you still lost. So at the, you know, what was all of that? So that's just my thing on that. So nah, man, y'all know who y'all are. That DM me, and even people on other channels that check my channel here and there, they you know, tune in and listen to that. Like, no. Boxing don't need that shit. I don't think any sport need that, but we don't need that, man. For what? What do I need to say about you? How do me talking about your mother, talking about something that you was accused of 10 years ago, why do I need to make anything about you personal? All we doing is having a fight. At the end of that fight, I'm gonna collect my money and go my way, you go your way. Maybe we cross paths again. But at the end of the day, like, what, it's a fight, man. That's all it is. It's a fight. For 36 minutes or less, it's a fight. That's all it is. So why all this personal stuff for psychological edge and all? These people are scared, man. And they're trying to pump themselves up. My father used to teach me that when I was a kid. The one that's doing all that, motherfucker, you don't know me, motherfucker. Yeah, he's really trying to get his heart up. And if you stand there and you're not saying nothing, he think that he's intimidating you. So his aggressiveness depends on how calm and relaxed you stay. But if he see you know, you're not intimidated, he doesn't really want to fight. And that's just something that I found to be true so many times, like in life, period. In the streets, in the ring, a cage, or wherever, a lot of those guys, they do all that talking and they coming in and they don't perform. Now, there's times when guys really don't like each other because they had some kind of relationship, something happened, and they really can't stand each other. You know, I used to work at a place, I had a supervisor, I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand his ass, and I told him, please, well, he knew better. So believe me, if we would have had to fight, I wouldn't have tried to do anything to make the fight get canceled. I wouldn't have initiated anything to like, nah, plain and simple. I ain't got nothing to say. When we get in that ring, I'm gonna beat your ass. Simple. You know what I'm saying? Take questions from the crowd or whatever, however. But if that had been like, and I'm using that for example because I hated that guy. I really couldn't stand that guy. He was just a rotten, lying, two-faced, no good scumbag of a human being. So yeah, you do have fighters that know each other and they have an actual beef. Okay? That's an actual beef. And that's why certain fighters have to be separated because of. That's why I'm saying when all of a sudden, even like when Holyfield and Tyson fought, and Tyson was, hey, you talking about me, you saying, and it's like, the fuck, because from what we always knew is that they actually was at camp together and they knew each other and that they always got along. So all of a sudden now all of this anger and hatred towards Holyfield, like what is this, man? And I mean, for you to bite a piece of a man's ear off and then say, like, oh, I've always had respect for him and stuff, that's like, bro, something is not clicking in here, man. Like, what the fuck? You don't bite people, man. Like, are you serious? You bite a motherfucker in the street. You know what I'm saying? Somebody too big, too strong, get you in something you can't get out of, and that's in the street. That's survival. This is in the ring. You bit the man not once but twice. So you think that those antics help you win a fight, or you need that to pump yourself up? Nah, I don't agree with that. I mean, and you're right. They do it for those reasons. But do we need that in boxing? No. I've never seen a press conference that made me decide I don't want to watch a fight. Not once. I've never seen a press conference that made me want to watch a fight. If I don't want to watch it, it's because of the two fighters involved. If I do want to watch it, it's because of the two fighters involved. The press conference has nothing to do with it. Now, they're trying to promote the fight and they want to spice it up, but like I just said, those kind of antics is that's no other sport other than combat sports, man, especially in boxing, do you hear people like really just trash the other fighter, which I don't care about that. You can talk. For me, I wouldn't trash my opponents because when I beat you, okay, so what? You said he was trash, right? So you cherry picked this guy. That's exactly what it's going to look like, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, but then think about it. If I think you trash, why would I want to fight you? So, you know, this is one of the things that I look at in fights. If we're going to fight, let's just fight. So, nah, y'all, I don't feel like boxing needs that. It's not entertaining to me. I don't feel like MMA needs that. I don't think bare knuckle needs that. I don't think any sport needs that. I just don't. The only thing that if you want to consider it a sport that I can understand it happens is professional wrestling because it's a show, it's entertainment. That's what they do. All right? Come December 29th, I'm going to beat you within an inch of your life. And all that. Come on. You know that's an act, that's staged, that's acting, that's entertainment. We don't need that in boxing, man. And that's just where I keep hearing people saying this stuff, but they need this boxing needs to get spiced up. Yeah, but not that way, in my opinion. I remember 50 Cent before said boxing need, to be hyped the way they do wrestling and stuff. I don't, and that's basically what he was saying. Like, okay, you want a fancy entrance to come to the ring? Cool. You want to wear certain things to come to the ring? Whatever, cool. You want to, whatever. But at the same time, you got to go in there and perform. So biting your opponent and all that type of shit. I ain't talking about the entertainment, but okay, that's cool. Spice it up, so that's cool. Do some different things to give boxing a different feel, a different look. Yes, I'm for that. But biting your opponent and purposely trying to physically get physical with your opponent and all that shit, you're a fighter. If you let somebody intimidate you, then you in the wrong sport. But like I said, people sit there throwing water on you. You think you gonna run off a car and drop kick me, man? No. That fight will be canceled. You can sue me. Whatever gonna happen. People, well, then you're not gonna get your money or whatever. That's just me. Plain and simple. So nah, y'all, we don't need that in boxing. That doesn't make me want to watch a fight. And somebody asked me, what is it about the fights that attract you to the fights? It's the fighters, what the fighters bring to the table. That's what I'm tuning in for. I'm tuning in to watch a fight. When I watch a press conference, I don't have a bowl of popcorn and a drink. No, it's just the press conference. That's all. It's the fight that I'm tuning in for. Are you paying $80 for a press conference, or are you paying $80 for a fight card? That's what I'm paying for. If I'm going to order, I'm watching a fight card. That's what and I watched the first fight to the last fight. I'm not one of them. I'm just going to watch the main event. Maybe go sit up here and chill. I'm be on YouTube or something. No. We need to focus more on the sport itself. I'm just saying, man, everybody's not a gentleman, and that's not even what I'm saying. I'm talking about all these unprofessional, hooligan-ass tactics that don't get you anywhere in the sport, man. Nobody needs that shit. We are training to fight. That's why you see a lot of managers and trainers jump into fights, man, like certain things like that, because it's not called for, man. My son going to fight somebody, and then motherfuckers come over and throw something at my son, whatever. I know me. I know me. I know my family. So you don't want to do that shit. Simple. You want to fight? Don't do something to try to make us, and we're responsible for our own actions. Don't get me wrong, but don't try to do something to make me throw the fight off so you can be free and say, oh, he didn't want to fight. No. I'm not a woman. I'm not your woman. You're not my woman. Understand what I'm saying? You're not a woman. Okay? Don't touch me. I don't want to touch you. I don't want to smell your breath. I don't want my nose on your nose, all that. No. Like I said, the closest we need to be is when the face-off comes. We do the face-off, boom, take your pictures, whatever. Shake or don't shake, I don't give a shit. You go your way, I go my way. That's all. But all that jumping up, running up, say I won't slap the shit out you. No. Get up. Let's go. Come do it. Come do it. At the end of the day. And I commended AJ when he got shoved. just kind of walk back over there, and then dude walks off, and he's, it's like, nah, bro. But it is what it is. So if that's what hypes you up and you feel like you need that, then whatever. But I don't need that. And on to something else real quick. Um, I was watching an old fight, and I just thought about something because somebody had said something to me on one of the comments on one of my videos about the fighters and their size and how big they are. And it was funny when he said that, when I read that, because we were just having a conversation about that the other day. This is not the first time. I made a mention about a guy named Tiger Williams before. There was several fighters. I think what it was, we never had a heavyweight division back in the day where like we had 8 or 9 more fighters that was as big as Tiger Williams was. He was 238, 6'5". Larry Holmes is what, 6'3"? He was 205. So he was way smaller than Tiger Williams, and he beat him, outboxed him, and he beat the fight. He won the fight conventionally. Now, there's been a lot of guys. So I know what I'm gonna do for another video that's coming up. I'm not gonna give it away, but I'll do it, and then y'all will see it when I post it. But yeah, there was a lot of guys, man. There was a lot of guys that were big. Now that era of Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe and all those guys, remember, early in their career, those guys are like in the 220s. They were in the 220s. So they wasn't any bigger than George Foreman was. In terms of, Lennox Lewis was actually a skinny guy growing up. His body just filled out as he, grew up. His body just filled out. He wasn't always that big. Neither was Riddick Bowe. Neither one of them was that big like that. You had other guys, Michael Grant, the guy they used to call Goofy, I forget his name. There was a bunch of guys. You had, Nikolai Valuev came on the scene. Shannon Briggs was a big dude, man. Razor Ruddock, 235, 240. There was a lot of guys before Lennox Lewis. It was definitely a lot of guys. The thing with most of the fighters that was big guys, they wasn't that skillful. They were just big. They relied on punching power. And usually, like, guys that's really tall like that, like Michael Grant, Wilder, Fury, usually guys like that couldn't really take punches, man. They were big and everything and heavy, but they just wasn't that skilled. And then they fight guys much smaller. What's this guy? I forget his name. Spanish guy, had the ponytail. He beat Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe in the amateurs. And when he got into the pros, he was doing good in the beginning, and he just got to the point he couldn't be anybody. He's another big dude. But again, initially these guys started out 222, maybe 224 and a half, stuff like that. Then later on, as their bodies filled out, they just started coming in 240, 235, 240, 250. Even like with Mike Tyson, fought Lennox Lewis, and he, put weight on. That's not a comfortable fight weight for Mike Tyson. And this is something that people, they forget. It's like your body weight. You can walk around at a certain weight, but is that a good fight weight for you? Because first off, that power, look, Mike already has power. That extra weight is not going to give him any more power. It's not going to give him any more speed. Actually, it's going to slow him down, if anything, because Mike is an explosive puncher that throws fast combinations. So that extra weight, like if you're used to coming in the ring 216, 219 the most, and now you coming in 235, 240, that doesn't help you. Usually when guys put weight on, it's because they fight the guy that throws a lot of body shots, and they have a game plan where they want to be able to absorb those shots, or they want to try to use weight to be able to get in there where they're not getting muscled around, or you like to try to use your weight on them, but it's like, okay, we equals in weight. So when Holyfield fought Tyson, they're around the same weight, just about. They're in the same weight class, so it wasn't no big deal. Like Holyfield was used to fight these big heavy guys. So now he's in there with a guy that he can walk around. Remember that when they fought, Holyfield was muscling Mike Tyson around the ring. He was the one pushing Mike back, walking Mike down, not the other way. Mike doesn't fight that way. Mike likes to come in. Mike don't like to tangle up. Mike like to come in and get his shots off. But if you can offset him, Mike negotiates with you. Like he'll stand on the ropes trying to get that position instead of just jumping on you. That's what he basically had became. Where he wanted you to negotiate, stand, and then he tried to throw his shots where before he would just come with that explosiveness and all of that. But regardless, even then, because we've seen it happen with Quick Tillers too. Like Quick Tillers was the first person to go the distance with him. And so Quick Tillis basically he was on his toes all night. But we seen the frustration is what I'm saying. And we seen times where Mike just didn't know what he wanted to do. But with the difference with that, and James Quick Tillis was a big dude too. Tall and had body weight. So no, it didn't start with Lennox Lewis. Now, as far as the heavyweights being the big heavyweights being dominant, yeah. As far as them being dominant. But yeah, because I mean, there was a lot of guys that, I mean, Tony Tucker, 6'3", 6'4". These guys were like 218, whatever. But like I said, the body weight doesn't help you. If you're fighting heavier than what you're used to, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. I don't like, even like one of the things I learned, I said, when you train, you got to do what boxers do, but you have to do something things that boxers don't do, that they're not known for. So even with your strength and conditioning, different things that you do to work out, old-fashioned fighters, old-fashioned trainers don't believe in this stuff. That's mess. No, it's not. It's not. And you should not ever get in the ring and your legs are too weak to hold you up. You should not ever get in the ring and your stamina is not where it should be. Never. At no point. You should not get in the ring and be in a point where after, 4 or 5 rounds, your arms, you can't barely hold your arms up. It's all of these things that people overlook. Technology increases because our minds do. Technology doesn't control us. We create technology. So even just finding better methods of training, all of those things, yeah, they mean something. So yeah, just bulking up and adding weight doesn't make you a better fighter. Being big doesn't mean shit. I mean, that doesn't mean shit just because you're big. You have to have some skills with that. I mean, we look at Nikolai Valuev. When we talk about punching power, whoever talks about him, and he was 280 pounds. Okay, 7 feet tall. We don't even talk about Nikolai Valuev, period, in no category. Other than he really lost that fight to Holyfield. You know who took? And when he fought Larry Donald, he really lost to Larry Donald. Nobody talks about Valuev. So being big doesn't mean shit, man. That doesn't, just because you're big, no. You know who Brian Sapp is? The actor that played in Blood and Bone. He does MMA, well, really kickboxing type thing, whatever. He has his hand in everything. As big as that guy is, he has power because he's big. So it's power behind his shots. But as far as his technique and skill, that guy gets gassed out in 2 rounds. 2 rounds of fighting, and he's... For 2 rounds of fighting, he has way more losses than he has wins. Now, if you look at him, if you're intimidated by size, he's 350 pounds. I'm 250. Okay, I'm 6'3", he's 250. He's like up here to me. I've seen him get his ass beat by a 185-pound Japanese wrestler. And it wasn't a wrestling match. It was like kickboxing, MMA style fight. He got his ass whooped. I've seen Bobby Lashley beat. I mean, he gets beat often. He's big, but that doesn't make him a good fighter. So, like I said, if size alone intimidates people, yeah, you'll look at him and go, God damn, I don't want to fight that big motherfucker. No, he's not skilled, man. He's not a skillful fighter. And I believe his look is what keeps him around. And most of his fights, he fights a lot in Japan. He's real popular over there. Nobody in the States talk about Brian Sapp. But yeah, and not the, he's doing what he's doing. He doesn't talk shit about who he is and what he is. He's not a solid fighter, man. But yeah, so no, we don't need those things, man. And yeah, you know what? Big fighters don't make the best fighters. It's about your skills, man. It's about your skills. James Toney went up in weight during that same Klitschko era. James Toney, look at that guy, was not a natural heavyweight at all. And basically, if he had better conditioning, James Toney would have been way more effective as a heavyweight than he was. But anyway, I got your point, and you're right. That, yeah, these guys are huge. But, yeah, you know what? But, yeah, as far as the dominance, yeah, Lennox Lewis, you could say he set that off, him and Bowe. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.